my name is Logan, and today we have another Ryobi Link product. This is the tool organizer shelf. We're gonna open it up, put it on the wall, and let you know what we think. Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Tuesday, which means new tool. Today it is the tool organizer shelf that we're taking a look at. If you're new here and you like Ryobi products, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, let us know what you want to see in future videos. If you're tired of seeing all these Link products, definitely let us know in the comments below. But if you want to see more, check out our playlist. We've got several videos already on the Ryobi Link and more to come. So stay tuned for those. But again, today we're going to be talking about this tool organizer shelf, which is the latest Ryobi Link product we've been able to get our hands on. Now, as you see here, we've got one already installed. So I want to take a second. I'm going to talk about how we came to acquire these, and then we're going to, as we always do, look at the specs on the box. We'll open it up, get it on the wall, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about what I like and don't like about this new shelf. But first, let me tell you a little story about how I came to acquire these Ryobi Link shelves. Because if you've seen our previous videos, you will have seen that I had one shipped directly to Sam. So they are available online. However, they are not in all of the Home Depots yet. That being said, I was able to pick these two shelves up at one of the local Home Depots. It's actually the same Home Depot that I went to get the bike hooks that you've probably seen in our previous video as well. Now, what's really cool is I have made friends with Colin and Hannah, who are with TTI, the Ryobi and Milwaukee reps at the local Home Depot, and they are absolutely awesome. Huge shout out to them and their team. The local reps here in the area have just been absolutely phenomenal. I cannot say enough about how cool they are. Now, one other thing, in the last video that I was in, I mentioned the fact that we have never got a product from Ryobi for free. Every product on this channel, everything that you've seen thus far, we purchased with our own money. So again, thank you for your support. But I can now no longer say that. While I was at the store picking these shelves up and talking to my new friends Colin and Hannah, they hooked me up with the Ryobi electrostatic sprayer. So this is a super cool 18 volt handheld electrostatic cleaning sprayer that this is the PSP02. So super cool. We're gonna have to check this out in a future video. So stay tuned for that. But again, thanks to the team, the local team here, thanks to Ryobi for making such awesome products. And again, thanks to Colin and Hannah for being really, really cool. And now back to the tool organizer shelf. Right off the bat, let's look at the specs. Pretty quick and easy here. Obviously, it connects to the Link system, so you do need the Link wall rails, which obviously we have a full wall of. This supports up to 50 pounds of weight capacity, 21 inches in length, and 11 inches in depth. So it is actually pretty deep. As you can see here, it can hold a pretty big tool on top of the shelf, or obviously in my case, multiple tools. And then on the bottom here, it has steel construction, wide shelf surface, 4 slots for organizing the power tools, and an onboard hand tool storage. So it's got these hooks on the side for your hand tools, things like screwdrivers, can easily just slide on just like that. Again, pretty straightforward on this one. Really just a lot of metal together. So let's go ahead and open this one up here. Now, one thing as I was opening that one that was interesting is there is quite the heavy duty cardboard included. This is actually really thick pieces of cardboard, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. Okay. There it is. Now, another interesting thing to note about this one, there is no operator's manual because there's really not anything to operate. Really, you just stick it on the wall. Now, I'm gonna start on the back here, and really what they've done is they've just taken 2 hooks, or the backs of these hooks and just spot welded them onto this metal shelf. So it's not that complicated. Really, they just lined up 2 hooks here and placed it strategically so that it can hit the back of the shelves. Now, one other thing they did is they allow you to screw through this back plate to allow you to secure it to the wall just a little bit more. So you can technically put into 4 screws, or put 4 screws in to the back here to securely mount this to the wall. Moving to the top here, this is just a standard shelf, nothing too fancy. They did give this little gap here, which they show as being for like tool bits or little parts and pieces. I've obviously demoed that here a little bit. It's not exactly how I prefer to have my bits. Honestly, I prefer having them in the tool chest or the drawer, but it does kind of make for a nice little display if you want to have your bits, you know, out and available. On the bottom here, again, you have 4 slots, and what is nice about these is they do have a little bump. They've put a little bend or indention here to help hold the tools from sliding off, or to kind of keep them in. It's not very big, it's not huge, it's not like it's a locking mechanism or anything like that, but it's a nice little touch to keep these tools, or keep your tools inside. And I will say from experience with these tools, it does seem that you can get 2 tools into most bays, depending on the size of the tool. They do fit up to actually 8 tools is the max that I've been able to get up there. But you could fit more than just the 4 based off of just kind of how deep this slot is. This 11 inches allows you to get more than just, you know, 4 tools, which is pretty cool. And then the last things on either side, again, they have these little hangers for your hand tools and other things that you're going to be hanging on here, like screwdrivers. Now, word of caution here, back to what I was saying about the really heavy duty cardboard that this came packed in. These bend super easy. Extremely easy to just bend all of these, even the bigger ones. This is just a thin piece of sheet metal. This is not going to be super durable, not anything like, for example, the screwdriver holder, which in my opinion is the way to go if you're going to have screwdrivers and hand tools. If I'm going to grab something off this, I'm honestly already concerned that I'm just going to rip these off or bend these to pieces. Take that for what it is. It's not why I bought the shelf. It's not why I wanted the shelf. So it's not a make or break for me. But if you're buying this to hold your tools up, be aware these are not any kind of real heavy duty metal on the sides to hold these tools up. Additionally, it makes it difficult as you mount this to the wall, because inevitably you want to push down right here on the sides. You want to hold it and push it down, and there's really not a good way to do that because of this thin piece of metal on either side. Obviously, it just takes up 4 slots, so not even a full panel. You can see that there's actually an additional slot and in the middle that you would technically have. The next thing I want to talk about is the size of this slot. So the ability to place a tool in here is obviously dependent on how big this space is, how accepting it is of the tool that you're going to fit. So surprisingly, this is less than 2 inches of a groove here, and the max capacity is just under 4 1/4, about 4 1/8 is the max space here. It feels like these were designed specifically for the HP tools. And the reason I say that is the HP tools have these cutouts, these special little grooves in this new plastic molding that perfectly fits this tray. So it hits perfectly on both sides and allows the tools to slide in. And honestly, I was a little surprised at how few of the other tools, the non-HP tools that I currently have, actually fits initially, but this base is too wide and it will not go in to where I feel secure about leaving it. Obviously, it's sticking out quite a bit, and if it's put in the other way, it won't even get past, or it's going to severely scratch up the tool itself. Even smaller ones like the jigsaw don't fit because they're too thick, too wide, and obviously with the shoe, it would never get past the shoe. So keep that in mind when you're planning the tools to put on this shelf. Obviously, again, you can fit up to 8 tools, but depending on what tools you have and what you plan to put up there, you may or may not be able to get them to fit. Now I want to talk a little bit about the cost of this shelf. At $64, a little more than $65 with tax, this can be a fairly expensive addition to your already fairly expensive shelving or wall or rail system, whatever it is that you're doing. However, if you think about the cost per hook, most of these hooks are $10 or a little bit more than $10, $13 for some of them. That can be pretty expensive. Maybe 2 tools on some of these hooks. With the shelf, however, if you can get 8 tools hanging and then 10 tools maybe up above, or at least a large tool that you wouldn't be able to put on a hook anyway, if you can do that with the shelf, you can see that it could actually save you a little bit of money and space if this shelf fits your use case. Now, while we're talking about cost, one other thing I wanted to bring up that many people had pointed out in one of our previous videos when we were putting this wall up is that you could remove every other set of rails to save a little bit of money. For the most part, we're only using hooks on every other run. That would allow us to take out the rails in the middle and use them in another location. Now, if you're going for the look and you're paying a lot of money for the look, then maybe you want to keep it as we have done here. But just a word of advice for those that are trying to save a little bit of money and still want to use this system, using it with an every other approach so that they're actually in rails might be a better way to go. And this would help complement that setup because of how much you can put on a single shelf. So again, we have the shelf up here now. What we can do is throw our HP tools. These are the compact series and they slide in nicely. Now, one other thing that doesn't work perfectly with this setup or with these HP tools is I have actually added belt clips from other tools. They didn't come with the belt clips, but they had a spot for the belt clips. So I stole belt clips off of other tools to put on these. Now, another thing to note there is the belt clips do hit the metal. So they are kind of hanging on this little piece of metal. So they are going to rub and scrape your shelf or these little slots. So it is something to be aware of, or just understand that yes, they are going to scratch and rub if you have belt clips, or depending on which belt clips you have. Some of them are a little bit more low profile. These ones just happen to stick out enough that they are going to scratch this up over time. Now, as I said before, and as you can see here, this really starts to free up a lot of the space on your wall. It frees up the amount of hooks that you need because you can place so many on one shelf. So again, cost-wise, this may make sense for a lot of people. That being said, personally, I like to display some of these tools in this fashion, especially doing videos. It's nice to have them displayed like this versus being hung upside down. However, again, for most people, this is probably going to be a better way to go. So, thoughts and impressions on this one. Again, I really like the shelf. I was really looking forward to this shelf because of its ability to hold so much in a small space. I will say that this had some of the weakest and cheapest parts to the link system that I've seen thus far. All of these other hooks and the rail system have all been top-notch, in my opinion, high quality pieces, but the shelf so far, at least this edge piece, is really kind of low quality in my opinion. Again, it's not meant to be something super robust, but the fact that all of these start to bend as soon as you touch them, it just feels cheap to me. Again, not a make or break because that's not what I specifically wanted to use on the shelf, but I would just as soon have gotten rid of those or put real hooks or something that were a little more robust and not quite so cheap feeling. The only other thing that I will say has felt a little bit less quality, this is still plastic. They are not metal pieces. So as you're installing the wall rails, I did notice occasionally if I got out of hand with the drill or the driver, what would happen is it would start to rub the plastic. And so you can damage your wall rails pretty quickly if you're using a drill or a driver and your screw gets out of hand, or if you slip and hit the wall rail system itself. Remember, it is plastic. It is very durable. It is high quality. It is thick. It's not very cheap feeling, but with an improper use or with, you know, a little bit of a mistake, you could damage that. Again, I don't think that compares to the quality of the shelf as far as this piece. The rest of the unit, I think, is fairly decent quality. I like that it's not super heavy. If this metal was much thicker, I think it would be too heavy, and honestly would probably not support much other than its own weight. But again, just my personal thing, I probably would have X'd those or not included them at all. So there it is, guys. Let us know in the comments, what do you think of the Ryobi Link products? What do you think of the tool organizer shelf? And what other Ryobi Link products are you most excited for? Or are you done with Ryobi Link and want to move on? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Logan. See you in the next one. This is the Ryobi Link tool organizer. Wrong side. Estantería de organización de herramientas.